When you were a children's presenter, is that where you got the idea to start being an author?
No, I became an author at 16 years old.
So,
That's
right,
when
you've
yeah.
brought up 16 a few times. Like,
Yeah.
is what 16 seems such a breakthrough year for you? Like 16, honestly, it does. You mentioned speaking with your parents about it at 16. You mentioned a few other things at 16 when you knew about switching your brand from your other one. Like 16 was properly, like Adele's got her titles of like
Yeah.
years. Like 16's yours. If you ever do your own like autobiography, 16's yours. But
That
what
is a
was it?
really good idea.
What was it about 16? What was it? Because for me, I think that's a really early age to sort of like be tuned in. But I get why you're obviously progressing like you are for doing it at that age.
Trying to think, like, you're trying to think back to like what headspace was I even in then. I don't know, like, I guess it was like the last year of school, and you're just kind of thinking about, I don't know, like, obviously you don't have your life together at 16, you're still young, but you still, ideas are still sparking. Well, they were for me anyway, and I felt like I was just transitioning into, I guess, my next stage of life, because it wasn't that deep now that you think about it. Like, girl, you're just going to sixth form, it's not that deep. But for me at the time, it felt like my whole world was changing. I was leaving school, my friendship circle was changing. And yeah, I knew that at 16, at first, my dream was to become a journalist. So I really wanted to write for magazines. And I ended up going to London and doing some internships for Bauer Media. So Bauer Media, they had Closer magazine. So I worked at Closer magazine as an intern. I worked at Heat magazine as an intern, and I worked at a magazine called Ask a Mom. So I did a few internships there, and I thought, yeah, this is the area of my life that I really want to go down. But it was kind of like my little planning year. Like, I wanted to launch a magazine. In fact, I tell you what, at 16, I wrote 7 goals. In terms of getting into book writing, I had that dream from when I was 11 years old. At 11, I went to my parents and I said, I want to write a book. That was it. I had no idea how I was going to do this, but I was like, I just want to write a book.
Did you know what it was about?
Not at the time. I was always writing. So I've been writing since the age of like 5. My parents always encouraged myself and my sisters to keep a journal. So literally on top of my wardrobe, I've got like a massive box full of diaries from the age of 5, like for dates like 2002.
Do you ever revisit them?
I don't like reading my diaries back.
I know what you mean.
I did read the first page of my 2002 diary from when I was 5, and I think I wrote about going. No, I wasn't 5. I think I was 7. But I was writing about going to the fish and chip shop. It's like I used to chat rubbish. But yeah, I don't like to read about my journals. I don't know. I just don't like it.
I respect that. I hear that. But so sorry. You were saying you went to your parents and said you want to write a book at 11.
Yeah. I was like, I want to write a book. I was reading people like Jacqueline Wilson, Benjamin Zephaniah, Mallory Blackman, and like, I just had no fear. This is the thing when you're younger, like, you're just fearless and you feel like you can do anything. Whereas now, you're more cautious when you approach anything. So yeah, I was like, I want to write a book. I didn't know how to do it, but I wanted to do it. And I remember sitting down at 15, back when you had like the big old square computers. And I used to come home from school and just used to write my short stories. So some of the stories I'd actually written when I was 12 in my English lessons. So I just took some of those stories and I developed them even further into actually longer short stories. So yeah, I just started writing it at 15, and then by 16, I was a published author. I think I wrote the book all in all in about 9 to 10 months.
How did you go through the process of writing it to then get it published? Because these are all like crazy things to be achieving.
Yeah, honestly, I feel really blessed. Literally sat down and wrote the book. Again, I didn't know anything about publishing, and I still don't, to be honest. Like, but yeah, my parents at the time kind of took control of the whole process, and they were approached by a publishing company in Redditch who really wanted to publish my book. So I went through them, and then from there, the Voice newspaper, I don't know if you know the Voice,
Yeah.
but they got in touch and they wanted to make me their front page story. So yeah, just kind of the platform was there. From there, I went on to be interviewed on the BBC Radio, on Midlands Today, and I got so many great opportunities out of that. And then last year, I decided to republish it because so many people were asking me about it because it had been discontinued. So I was just like, do you know what? Yeah, now is the time to re-release. And I wanted to switch up the narratives. So I made all the narratives in the book from a female narrative. And I really wanted to kind of point out more diverse characters as well in the book. So it's got a different feel from the first one. But oh my gosh, I cannot believe that. Because at the time when I was 16, I wrote a letter to Benjamin Zephaniah. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, you're so inspiring, please read my book. And he wrote me back. And then fast forward 10 years, he came into the BBC for like a talk. And I saw him and I was like, I literally showed him a picture of the letter. I was like, remember me? Like, you wrote me a letter when I was 16. And then, yeah, I kept in touch with him. And I sent him a book, and he sent me a testimonial to say that he loved the book. And you have no idea how it feels to have the Benjamin, legendary Benjamin Zephaniah, to say that your book is dope. As far as I'm concerned, everyone else's opinion don't matter now.
Get
like, you could say my book is rubbish, but I could say, but Benjamin Zephaniah said it was great. So.
That's
How you doing?
It's sensational. It's sensational. It's like, I mean, is this still a vocation and aspiration that you want to continue with the writing side?
Absolutely. I love to write. Writing will never, ever, ever die in me. Like, even if I don't do anything else, I have to write. I feel like it's my way, especially like I said to you when I was a child, because I went through so much, I went through an identity crisis in terms of not feeling like I was good enough the way I was because of how people used to attack me with words. So my way to really, I guess, help myself back then when I didn't realise was writing. I used to write everything. Like, I used to write my pain. I used to write how I was feeling. I used to write about, like, because I was anxious. I was a very anxious child going to school. Thinking about going to school made me so anxious. Walking across the playground made me anxious. Like, it was just a very anxious time of my life. And having my journal, like, I was having my best friend. It was a way of me being able to express anything that I was feeling. So I cannot imagine you taking writing away from me.
Without getting too deep, is that one of the reasons why maybe you don't want to go back over them books, because it might open a window to where you are, even though it's still a part of you and you acknowledge it, but you've come through that? It's like you don't need to revisit that. Is that one of the reasons?
I think kind of. Like you said, I think when you... That's such a good question. Honestly, like, yeah, like sometimes you can move on, but you don't need to revisit to be reminded. So, and you know what? Maybe I will get to the stage one day where I'm just like, I can read this. But yeah, I think it would be hard for me looking back now to realise I was so young and to think, gosh, I felt like this at 8. Like, that's quite emotional, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll leave that there for now.
I respect that though, because one thing that's coming through is just the depth of maturity that you have, like, not just in how you come across and how you're speaking, but the what you've achieved. Like, do you mind me asking how old you are?
I'm 26.
You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think of what you've, like, accomplished so far at a point. And even through hearing the hunger and appetite in your voice, I don't even think that you think that you've scratched the surface in where you want to get, which is just, do you see what I'm saying? Like, It's honestly, it's like enthralling to see where you actually want to take it and
Oh,
where you
thank
want
you
to
so
progress
much.
to. It's incredible. Would you like to let people know where they can find a bit more about the books that you've got, a bit more about what they're about? Because I know the children's novel, one of the books actually, I really wanted to give to one of my friends because he was speaking about, like he's raised as a guy, he's got an older sister, but he's never really had a young like female impact in his life, and now he's got a daughter, and it's
Oh,
like he proper loves his daughter, but certain things that might
oh,
be said in a school by kids or nurseries, like you've just said you've experienced it, and it's like he's always like, I don't know. He knows what to say to assure his daughter
yeah,
because it's his daughter. But if you've
yeah,
not been in that situation, sometimes if people have, there's more of a reassurance of look,
yeah.
someone's been through it and they can get. So, are the stories like related to that, or is the notions of stuff like that in the books? Like, what are they about?
Yeah. So there's 7 short stories in it. So for example, Snow Black, that was literally born out of a concept of me not seeing representation of princesses who look like me, princesses with afro hair, who were dark skinned. You never really read like narratives. It was always a single narrative of something else, but it certainly wasn't about, a Jamaican princess with afro hair. Like you didn't hear about that. So I really wanted young girls to see, like, look, you're beautiful too. You can be a princess too. Like, it's okay. And then, like, you have other stories in there which touch on mental health. So there's a story called Trapped, and literally the entire story is about what goes on inside of the little girl's mind, but you don't actually realize that until the end. So it's the whole thing is about what is happening in her head. Like she talks about this thing coming to get her, it's kidnapping all her family. Like it's quite eerie, but it's literally allowing people to see that even though children are children, there's stuff
They're,
going on inside their minds.
they're still
There's stuff
switched
that you
on.
can nurture. They're still switched on.
More
There's
so switched on. They're more so
what don't you
switched on.
think? Don't you think there's always the saying that kids will be kids or they're just a child, but
Nah.
it's about not getting too like flippant about it. Like children go through some stuff that you don't even
100%.
realize.
100%.
100%.
Do you think that these could be made into like almost like adaptations? Do they have the scope to? And is it something that you'd like to potentially see happen for them one day?
100%. I mean, I'm a naturally content creator, so I'm a visionary. Like when I write, I also see it coming alive in my head. So absolutely, I would love to see Snow Black be turned into an animation one day. I just think it would be so amazing to see that. Um, yeah, and I think just putting these narratives out there, I'm hoping it can really help resonate with young girls. I've had so many parents like send me little clips of their daughters reading the book, and honestly, it melts my little heart because I just think I didn't have stories like this when I was little. So it just makes me really happy to know that actually it's helping young girls just enjoy reading and enjoy seeing themselves while they're reading. That's fun.
I think that brings us nicely to the end. So thank you for your time. And I think as a nice roundup off the back of what you're just saying, if you just want to remind people about Not Your Average Girl and where people can find out a bit more about yourself as well.
Yeah, so if you would like to get your hands on my book, Snow Black was a master of the short stories, it's available on Amazon. And then obviously, Not Your Average Girl, it is an amazing community supporting young women in TV and digital media. So if you would like some more support, if you would like to hear from me, if you'd like me to be your career coach, then just get in touch with me at teamnyag, both on Twitter and Instagram. And obviously, I'm at This Is Tee Cee, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter as well. And thank you so much. Like, you are amazing. Like, thank you so
Nah.
much for having me. You're so much fun. Like, I love your Yorkshire accent as well. Like, people literally think the Birmingham accent is strong. Your Yorkshire accent's strong, but it's amazing. I love it.
I have the strongest Yorkshire accent ever. Like, I pride myself on my Yorkshire accent. I see people's eyes sometimes go like, what, what's going on? What's going on? Like, and then I turn it up another notch. Like, I said, pal, but no. We've got to represent. We've got to be true to us, which is
Yeah,
what we
man.
started for.
Yeah,
Represent our
man.
ends, and that's what it is, man. Our accents tell our own stories and give us our own personalities. And you know, the past hour has just been incredible. To like,
Has it been an hour? Jeez, I feel like I talk too much, you know. I have no idea.
no, honestly, that's that it's called Loose Lips because I want people to feel engaged and open up and talk, and the whole point of this is that people can tune in and lock in and forget about the situation, what we're going through, and if we can escape
Yeah,
it for an hour or whatever and get inspired by other people's stories, that's what it's about. And
100%.
yours has really been like the epitome of that. Like
Oh,
to
thank you
hear
so
everything
much.
that you've said, and everything's just been so upbeat, optimistic, and there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to smash it and take it to where you want
Oh,
to get
thank
to. So now,
you.
bless
Thank
you. It's been
you.
amazing to connect and engage. Thank you so much for your time. You take it
Thank
easy. Good
you.
luck. Don't be a stranger. Stay cool and good luck with it all, man. Peace.
Thank you. See you.
Bye. There we are. Talisha there coming through with the absolute fire of facts, man. Just wow. I wanted to reach out because I'd heard about the fact that she was an author and also doing some research inside at the BBC. So I wanted to delve into a bit more about her career path. But what she's just given us there has just surpassed anything that I could have ever imagined what it were to be. And such a uplifting, invigorating spirit and soul, which is again what I want to be able to be getting out of these encounters and these chats. So if you're new to this is Loose Lips. I'm Ben Randm. What I do is I speak with a varying selection of people all across different walks of life, getting their life stories, looking to instill optimism and enlightenment through those people who come into contact with them, like yourselves, who's been watching. So thank you, everybody who's stayed tuned and everybody who watches this. If you want to see the back catalogue of all the chats, then you need to go to YouTube and put in Pop Cult Chic, and you can find all the back catalogue there. Likewise, on Instagram, IGTV, put in pop.cult.chic. You can find all our previous chats on there with some incredible people from society doing good things and uplifting the spirits of you and everybody around the planet. I'm Ben Randm. I'll be back on Monday with my next set of guests. Peace and light to you and yours. Stay cool, stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you. Peace.